Well, hello again. Okay, so I took some time, walked around, stretched, combed my hair. And yes, I do love my hair long. Um, the reason for that is that two things. I One of the ways I was abused was by having my head shaved as a child and being held down and uh, having these grotesque haircuts that why the other kids were allowed to wear theirs long or any way that was in style. I had to have a shaved head as a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 year old, and even into my last year of high school. I got away and was allowed to have it a little bit longer, but then I joined the military and had it short. So um, the other thing is an interesting story about Native American trackers in World War, I believe it was II. I was reading this story about how the military went and asked them to please join. They needed their skills in that, and they did. They were totally 100%, despite what had happened to their tribes and that. They were honest to God patriots. They joined, they went through all the training, the military shaved their heads, and all of a sudden they couldn't do what they were there for. They had lost their ability, and the military was stumped. And one of the elders said, "It's because you cut their hair." So they went out and they found two more groups and they brought them in and they asked them, okay, we're going to take some of you and cut your hair, and we're going to take those and the other group, and we're not going to cut your hair. You're going to be able to have your hair as long as you want. And it turns out there are some tribes that have the belief that they are not supposed to ever cut their hair. Well, it turns out, and this is a bona fide military study, and I read it hard for me because my education is so poor, but I read it, and it turns out that the ones who had their hair cut lost their ability until their hair grew out again and started growing. The more the hair grew, the better their abilities came back. The ones who did not have their hair cut never lost their ability. Now, there's no scientific proof or reason for this. The study doesn't claim that. The study only claims what happened. Now, perhaps it was psychological because our minds are so powerful. They can control our bodies. They can control what we can do and can't do. Um, I really honestly believe they control what happens to us after the physical body dies. Our minds are incredible. But the honest truth was that was something that stunned me. And I'm very much into the supernatural, and as you can see from my necklaces and all the different charms and that I have, my earrings right now, I'm wearing my skull ones I made. Skulls are not bad and evil, by the way. They can be made that way. Most charms can work either way. Magic is not uh, magic, the forces of energy that we call magic, but it's really actually forces of energy controlled and manipulated, basically are neutral. And people either do good things with it or negative things. Okay, I prefer to do good, obviously. That's my personality and the way I am. So, anyway, which leads me to my next thing, religion. Because I post a lot of atheist stuff, and I am an atheist as far as gods go, even the Native American gods. I'm not into worshiping any gods. However, I have posted many times my view on faith and religion. Now, faith is personal, internal, singular. My faith and Ron's faith are two different faiths because we're two different people with two different personalities and ideas. A lot of the things we agree on. A lot of the things are the same. Okay? But even if two people were perfectly matched in their faith, it would not be the same faith. Faith is so personal, it's tied right into your core being. A person of faith doesn't speak on it unless asked. They don't push it on to others. It wouldn't do any good. My faith would not be any good for anybody else out there. Um, Faith does not stand on a soapbox and yell out. It doesn't scream to the crowd. It is a private action, and often I have noticed that people with true faith gather people to them, and people will say, how do you live that way? I want to live that way. Gandhi and others. How can I be like what you have? How can I find that serenity, that peace, that inner motivation, whatever it is? Okay. I know people of Christian faith who fight against putting any Christian ideas and laws in that simply because they believe their faith is personal, not public. Religion, on the other hand, is a behavior control device established a long time ago to control the masses, to move money from the bottom up to the top to the leaders. It's simply a big business. It is nothing more than they're selling a product that they don't have to deliver, but you pay them huge amounts. And preachers get huge amounts, these mega churches and that. One preacher recently, and I posted it on my blog, asked for $60-some million from his followers so he could buy a new private jet. Had an old one, but hey, that's not good enough for me. I'm better than that. That's not faith. That's a business. And that is taking from when Pat Robertson tells a little old lady who says, well, I can either pay my tithes or I can buy the medicines I need to live. And he says, pay your tithes. You have to do that before you do even feed yourself. And if you can't do that, you need to go back to work. 70-some years old, you need to go back to work so you can pay the church. You can give, I'm rich, but I don't have enough money. Yet I'm your spiritual guide. It doesn't, that's not faith. That's not Christian or Islam or God or anything. That is simply a business, a greedy business where you take from those as much as you can. It's a Barnum and Bailey circus type thing. Take as much as you can from the populace and funnel it right to the guy at the top. This new pope is fighting that, by the way, and I like it. I like that he is not running around like the others, claiming he's the queen of the world, you know, and dressing in the fanciest stuff and living in a palace like his predecessors have done. But it doesn't change the fact that their money goes to them and not to, and of course, don't even get me started on the child abuse thing because Scotty don't like that. Scotty gets very upset. Okay. Now back to beliefs. I'm pagan, obviously. I have pagan feelings and beliefs, and if you want the honest truth, I have a lovely, gorgeous little dragon about the size of our cats who comes and plays with them and lays with them, and you see him out of the corner of your eye. When you turn to look at him, he rarely lets you get a full glimpse of him. Once in a while he does. Now you're saying, well, Scotty, your meds are playing with your mind, or they are, you know, you're drinking or something. Well, that's fine. You can believe that way. Just as I'm allowed to believe in the dragon. Okay? Here's the thing. That's why it's personal. And that's why it's important that we let people have faith, that want faith. But we keep religion, which is a business, not a, you know, not a sacred belief. It's a business. And it's a business of controlling the populace for the benefit of the top branches of the pyramid. We have to keep them out of schools. We have to keep them out of our governments. Look, these same people that preach they want their religion to be in making the laws and that are the same ones that are against the caliphates and the religious governments overseas. Okay? Sadly, we are letting people of religion go overseas and preach in the name of Americans hateful, mean, cruel things. Now, if your God is that cruel, I'm sorry, but you're not a good person. And your God is definitely not a good. I mean, I love the spirits of the world, the energy of this planet, the universe. I love almost a Taoism view, which is basically like the Star Wars, the Force. I feel there's energy all around us. I feel there's energy in everything. And I don't feel that energy is negative or positive, but it can ebb and flow and it can change. And the animals feel it, they know it. And I'm nothing more than another animal, which leads me to my last point before I close this video. I love animals, and I seem to have a way with them ever since I was a child. Other kids would get bit and I would not. Animals would come to me that would never come to other children and things and that. I never thought much about it, but now that we've rescued so many, used to be dogs, now it's cats, and they all eventually bond to me. Well, part of that is that I'm here all the time, you know. But the other thing is that in the long run, it's your spirit touches their spirit and you find some bonding point. And we can do that with people. I have very, very, very few people that I really don't like. Sadly, there is one and he lives next door. But anyway, um, I'm going to close this because I have a limit to how much I can transfer to my blog at one time. I'm going to get up, move around because my spine is again killing me and I got to take some meds. So I'm going to stop this. This will be video 2 and I'll do video 3 and that'll be it. I'll get out of your hair for the day. Thank you and I love you. Hugs.